We are about to get a first round wide receiver back, and it's going to be the perfect time for it. This guy is going to go off. Welcome to another episode of Fantasy Football Free for All. We are going week 5 injury report, and man, oh man, is it crowded with a lot of injury implications and virus fallout. So let's start in Atlanta. We've got Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones. Both have been on the injury report for multiple weeks. Julio hasn't practiced all week. We don't know if he's going to be playing, and even if he does, I don't know if you're interested. This team is a mess. And on the other side, Calvin Ridley got a goose egg last week. He's improved, his health is better, he looks to be an okay fantasy start this week, but man, if you're a Julio Jones owner, you've got to be hitting the panic button. We're 5 weeks into the season, and he just cannot get right. That's a huge deal, especially considering where he was drafted. Now, Ridley has certainly taken a substantial amount of his value, but we used to think that the Falcons could just support all these weapons. With everybody dinged up, and with the real kind of drop in quality of play from this team, I'm looking elsewhere if I'm a Julio owner, and if I'm a Calvin Ridley owner, I'm really, really worried. For the Saints, we have Michael Thomas. Thank goodness, he's back! Michael Thomas, everyone! Your first round wide receiver is back, and he should be able to take this back and just run with it. It should be like a hot knife through butter. Put him in your lineup. Nobody worry. He is going to be there. Drew Brees has been begging for a wide receiver to step up. Traquan Smith has been okay. Emmanuel Sanders has been disappointing. Taysom Hill is nothing but a flash in the pan. Alvin Kamara has been the best receiver on this team. And thank goodness, he gets to go back to being an outlet, not the primary target. This is going to mean that we'll see huge yards for Michael Thomas and still solid production for Alvin Kamara. Be excited. This is a good thing for this team. I know Alvin Kamara owners are a little worried about the drop in targets, but know that he will have more big plays because they'll be able to finally spread the field. This is an awesome thing for all Saints players. Even Latavius Murray will see a boost. So, get him in your lineup. In Cleveland, we've got 3 injuries of note. We have Greedy Williams, who is unexpected to play. That really hurts this Cleveland defense, which is honestly probably better for the Cleveland offense. We've got Kareem Hunt with a groin injury and Odell Beckham Jr. with a toe injury. Both OBJ and Kareem Hunt say they're good to go. And with both of them coming off career games last week, you have to be excited to dial them in and dial them up and roll them out in your fantasy lineups. I mean, Kareem Hunt, considering he was likely a 6th round running back, now has RB1 value and is probably in the top 5. Now, Odell Beckham Jr., we really need to see what this looks like, because while Stefanski does a lot of gadget plays, Odell Beckham Jr. isn't going to be, running 2 touchdowns in. He's not going to be receiving balls from Jarvis Landry. He's going to have a little bit of a comeback to earth. But I think that he can still have over 100 yards and a score this week. Now, in Baltimore, we have a few concerns. Marquise Brown and Lamar Jackson are both dinged up. They're both questionable. Nobody thinks that they're going to miss time, but with repeated practices that they were unable to complete, I worry about kind of the dynamic nature of Lamar Jackson and the speed of Marquise Brown. Now, we have to roll them out. I mean, maybe you're sitting Marquise Brown as a wide receiver 3, but Lamar Jackson is a must start every week. And this week is no exception. But you need to be aware that, one of these days he is going to be nicked up from the style of play. Think back to Michael Vick and the way that he would get injured sometimes midway through the season because of his physical style of play. Now, you have to play him. It's a fact of life. But I'm looking at him and I'm wondering, how many games are we really getting out of him? But this week, there is no wonder. Versus the Bengals, you're going to run him up. He's going to be your number 1 quarterback, and he is going to feast on this team. There is no doubt. He's good to go, but it's still kind of that lingering question. In Pittsburgh, we have 2 maybe troubling injuries. We've got Juju Smith-Schuster and Deontay Johnson, both coming in questionable for this game. They both practiced in full on Thursday. That's a good thing. The downside, both of them are kind of dealing with some of these nagging injuries that start to mount during the weeks. Now, they came off of a week 4 bye. This should help them. They're going off against a really reeling Eagles secondary. There's been a lot of talk about Darius Slay. Well, Darius Slay is a good corner. Deontay Johnson and Juju Smith-Schuster should both be better than the Eagles cornerbacks. This should not be a problem for them. If it is, I wonder if it's not this toe and knee injury that is kind of holding them back. Juju will be in the slot, so he'll avoid Slay most of the time, but Deontay Johnson with this toe injury may not be as explosive as you hope. I would be looking elsewhere for Deontay Johnson this week. Juju Smith-Schuster is a wide receiver 2 for me, but he has to be in your lineup. For the Bills, we have Zack Moss with that lingering toe issue and John Brown with an ankle injury. Now, Zack Moss hasn't played a full set of snaps since week 3. And, I don't think this is going to be the week that he comes and takes the lion's share of the carries. Devin Singletary has shown that he can be an acceptable back. They're not going to be in a rush to push him back, especially with a bye on the horizon. Zack Moss will see a few carries, but even if he does play, he's not going to be in my lineup. John Brown pulled up lame in practice this week. Now, this is an issue. John Brown's his whole game plan revolves around being elusive and having that speed. Smoky John Brown, he needs to have that. Now, an ankle injury, that's going to stop the cuts, reduce his elusiveness, and may slow down the speed. Both of these guys are not going to be in any rosters this week. And if they are, it's because you don't have any other choices. The Broncos have 3, maybe 4 injuries of note. Drew Lock may be coming back for his first game since that AC sprain against the Patriots. Whoops. All right. The Broncos have 4 injuries of note. They've got Drew Lock, who's looking to make his first start since that AC sprain, but he's going against the Patriots. This is something where I don't know if the offensive weapons necessarily make him a good start when you've got your still solid Patriots defense. It's not helped by the fact that Noah Fant and KJ Hamler are both expected not to play this week. Noah Fant hit that injury, it's an ankle injury. It didn't look good last Thursday. It's not very likely. He's doubtful. I think this is going to be a multi-week injury for Noah Fant, and I think it's the right call. It's not like the Broncos are going to win the Super Bowl here, folks. They should be sitting their vital weapons if they have to. I don't know why you would risk his long-term health. KJ Hamler has a hamstring injury. He pulled up lame in that Jets game. He wasn't what you were looking at, except in the deepest of leagues. He was a dart throw at best. Tim Patrick comes in, and he might be an okay deep start, especially for folks who were smart enough not to start Scotty Miller. With Philip Lindsay coming back this week, we could see a drop in production from both backs. They're going to try to work him in, and I think Melvin Gordon sees a drop in carries. I also think that Philip Lindsay isn't going away. So I hope you got your value out of Melvin Gordon last week, because I think we're going to see about a 20% decrease in touches for Melvin Gordon, and you're going to have a RB3 in him, and Philip Lindsay is not going to be a worthy play for any league. For the Jets, we've got two major injuries. It's not like you were looking at this team and being like, I gotta get me some of that. But Sam Darnold is going to miss week 5 with a shoulder injury. Joe Flacco is going to take his place. But Le'Veon Bell is going to be returning. He should see the bulk of the carries, which makes, Frank Gore and LaMichael Pirine nothing but drops. You can have an insurance policy if you absolutely need one, but I wouldn't be going anywhere near this team. Jamison Crowder is the only startable player, and he's not even more than a wide receiver 3 with upside. So, I bring it up because I have to, but I'm not excited. That'll round out our week 5 injury update. There are a couple other players that have cropped up. Joe Mixon, he's got a shin injury. We're going to put an update out as soon as we know anything. I don't think it's going to impact his availability, but just be aware. Thanks for watching Fantasy Football Free-For-All, and look out for our next video.